Let's rock. What's up, everybody? This is Josh coming to you with another episode of the Affiliate Marketing Show. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest affiliate marketing news, tips, and trends. Per usual, I'm Josh from OfferVault.com, the industry's largest aggregator of all things affiliate marketing. Whether you're looking for networks or offers or affiliate programs, we got you covered. We also have Daddy Callbucks, Mr. Adam Young, as well as the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz, plus our very special guest today, Dr. Jay Feldman, aka Lead Gen Jay, co-founder of Otter PR, a public relations agency located in Orlando and St. Pete, Florida. They have been recognized by Forbes, Newsweek, and Entrepreneur Magazine and ranked the #1 PR firm by G2 and Clutch. What's up, Jay? How we doing, man?
Doing really good. Thank you for having me on the show. Love the introduction. Excited to jam with you fellas today.
Yeah, we're excited to jam with you as well. As you can see, we got all the gear ready to go.
Yeah, full on band. I like
yeah,
that.
full on band. You play anything?
You know, I tried to learn guitar during COVID. I bought a guitar, I bought a course, I sat down and I learned Wonderwall, the one song that I was able to kind of play. But honestly, my fingers were in so much pain. And I eventually got COVID during that time when I was learning. So I suffered for like 2-3 weeks, never picked it back up. Now it sits on my wall as a glorified decoration.
That's hilarious because Wonderwall was like one of the first songs I learned on guitar, and it was my like overnight camp, like woo the ladies, like go-to jam. But we usually don't do like origin stories, but you seem to have a really, really unique path to how you got to be the co-founder of Otter PR, and I barely know it. I looked on your LinkedIn and I just noticed you went from emergency room scribe to the co-founder of Otter PR, and I'm assuming there's a lot that happened before the emergency room scribe as well. So I'm curious, can you kind of like briefly, if possible, walk us through like where Dr. Jay Feldman started and how Lead Gen Jay is here in front of us today?
Sure, and I'll give you the spark notes as to not put the audience to sleep with another origin story. But yes, I grew up, I guess it started professional beach volleyball. It was my whole life for half of my life. And realized too short and Jewish to do that professionally. Decided to take school a little bit more seriously. Stereotypical Jew, grandma, moms, like, go be a plastic surgeon, make a lot of money, make us pretty. So that was kind of the mission for a long time. Went to medical school shortly after graduating college. I went to University of Florida, played volleyball there. Now I took a gap year between graduating college and starting medical school in New York City. And during that gap year is when I got like my first introduction to business. My roommate at the time, president of the entrepreneurship club at Florida State, lived with him and wrote like 1,000 essays for kids that year. It was a company called SA Chief, and that basically paid my first year of medical school, put me through Europe that summer. But I was like hooked into business, learned how to build a website, learned how to market. And then my second year of medical school was approached by a friend to start a business with him because I was the only other entrepreneur he knew. And that was the marketing agency. Instalete.com is what that was called. We did marketing for healthcare clinics, doctors, even a few hospitals. And that just took off during medical school. So I was a little bit distracted, started my family medicine residency after medical school in Orlando, did a year of actual medical training while trying to balance the business, and was just button heads the whole time, focusing on building the business, focusing on marketing. After that 1 year, decided to leave and do business and marketing full time. And now we have we own 2 commercial buildings. We've got 65 plus staff. It's Otter PR, Otter Leads.ai is the two marketing arms of the company. I'm the kind of visionary and CMO. I do all the business development, all of the marketing. And this past year started teaching the marketing. So what I'm really passionate about right now is helping other businesses figure out this B2B marketing and lead gen thing. So launched the YouTube channel in 2023, and we're about to hit like 16,000 subscribers. I launched my insiders course on my birthday a little over 2 months ago. That's been a rocket ship. So here we are. Very passionate about teaching, and hopefully can give some of that back on the episode here.
Question for you.
Yeah.
What type of businesses do you primarily work with, like that you teach, their marketing or that you sell leads to through, Otter Leads? Like what industries would you say you focus on?
For the lead gen agency, it's pretty much all B2B because that's really all that works with cold email right now. That's like legal and not going to go away anytime soon. So coaches, consultants, software companies, any B2B service provider, and high ticket like B2B products as well. But honestly, if you sell to a business, well, we work with you. I get a lot of generalized different types of industries coming in through my YouTube channel. So we don't really do any prospecting. We're not running Facebook ads. We're not doing any email to get new clients for that. Everybody is coming in through my YouTube channel, and it's very diverse. So our clientele is fairly diverse, but all in the B2B space.
So when you send out cold emails, let's talk about what that looks like in B2B. A lot of our listeners do email, but it's usually B2C. And so think affiliates
Mhm.
that are sending email and promoting other products. What type of response rates do you see from B2B? How many emails back and forth before you actually create a result? What's a typical result metric? Like, give us a walkthrough of what the actual cold email process and funnel, we'll call it, would look like. Because I think that is probably very new to our listeners, but that type of information, what I think would be really valuable in understanding the difference between B2B and B2C.
Definitely, I'm happy to. I'll just try and give you the fun watered down version. And a lot of the listeners you mentioned they were doing B2C. When you say that, do you mean B2C like people who have opted into a list, given them their email, or they're
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
cold B2C? Okay, perfect. So within the email marketing umbrella, you've got basically nurture emails or promotional emails to people who have given you their email address. They've opted in for something, signed up for your email list, signed up for your newsletter in some form or another. They know that you're going to email them. They're expecting that email. A lot of what I teach to other businesses is not that. It's cold email. People who have never heard of you before, they did not give you their email address, and you have to essentially solicit them to somebody who doesn't know who you are, probably doesn't want to get the email, and you have 10 seconds to capture their attention and get them to take some sort of action. So there's some technical aspects to getting a successful cold email campaign set up. The first one is who you're emailing. So getting a list of emails within the niche that you're targeting can be very expensive and can be difficult to figure out who you're going to email. So step
Well,
one,
let's dive into
uh,
that because that's a great point, and I have
sure.
experienced that myself on our sales team. What are some of the tactics and places that you're going to actually develop that list? Like, what does your list development process look like?
So you can either scrape it, buy it, or subscribe to a database. So you can scrape a lot of different social media platforms where those email addresses are publicly available, such as LinkedIn. There's tools that make it much easier to do, like igleads.com. You can go on and get unlimited scraping. There is buying lists. So if you're looking for example, personal injury attorneys are looking for people who have like recently filed insurance claims because they were hit by a car. If you can get that list and send them an email soliciting them to represent them for their personal injury case, that's really valuable data. And that's an example of like buying a list of data from somebody can be a really good practice. What I teach and the majority of what I do is through B2B contact databases. So perfectly legal. There's a lot of companies competing in this space that compile and add lots of different pieces of information to business contacts. So, for example, if I'm trying to reach out to you, I can probably go into my database, filter by company, filter by title, filter by technologies that you're using in your business, filter by location, and download pretty much on the spot 100,000 contacts that fit my specific specifications and filters that I can then start reaching out to.
Cool. So once you have that data, then and you've sort of narrowed down your list to your target audience, you mentioned 100,000. Is that typically the size that you're going for on a standard B2B campaign?
So for a cold email campaign to work, volume is a really important. If you're coming to me and you want to do B2B cold email, but you're only reaching out to Fortune 500 CEOs in Idaho, and your list is like 150, cold email is not going to work. My advice to that person is to reach out to them one at a time, hyper personalize those emails. When you're doing a cold email campaign, I would say the starting point for when it makes sense is at least 100,000 people within your total pool. A lot of companies, B2B service providers, consultants have millions in their pool. There's a lot of businesses in the United States, and a lot of that data is compiled in these databases like Apollo.io or ZoomInfo. So a successful outreach campaign, we usually try and get them to about 1,000 cold emails per day before you start seeing real results, real calls getting booked, real sales happening. And that is, it sounds simple enough, but the infrastructure needed to create that 1,000 emails per day delivered to the inbox, getting results, can take a while to get right.
Yeah, of course, especially with deliverability challenges related to email. I like that.
Yep, it's an art.
Yeah, I like that you're looking at smaller segments over time. I think if someone were to go and just get that list and try to deliver to the entire list in a single day, that they're going to run into a lot of issues around it. It's not like high volume direct to consumer opted in data. You're looking at more targeted approaches and smaller volume.
Correct.
And
And
so,
you're fighting Google, you're fighting Microsoft to hit that inbox to avoid the spam. So you really can't. There is no good way to send 100,000 emails in one foul swoop from one mailbox like you can with an opted in list. Those things will all end up in spam. Your domain's going to get blacklisted. The mailbox is never going to work again. So you need to kind of drip these slowly over time. And that's in your benefit too. Because if you have a campaign that's working and you send 100,000 emails and you get a 10% opportunity rate, good luck handling all of that inbound. So most people just aren't equipped for something like that.
and do you actually see a 10% reply rate?
On some of our campaigns, we're getting around 30% reply rates. Absolutely. There's a lot of things that go into getting to that point where you have a 30% reply rate. Half of those are positive opportunities. The secret to doing that most people overlook or don't want to spend the time or money doing is creating really high value lead magnets. So the campaigns that we do that give us 30% reply rates are campaigns where we're offering to interview somebody on our podcast, Scaling Secrets, when we're offering to write and publish a free piece of news coverage on somebody. Those are ones that get 30, 40% reply rates. We're just asking for a yes. We send them a link to a quick form to give us some info. Everyone wants to be interviewed. Everyone wants free press. So we give them something first, and then we go for the ask in the third or fourth cold email, and we have our BDR reach out to them. But at that point, they're opted in. They know who we are. We've done something for them, and now it's their turn to reciprocate. And that's how we get really good results with really high quality business owners and decision makers.
I really like that strategy. You're absolutely right. We did this a long time ago where for Ringba, we hosted a podcast when we were brand new, and I would invite people who refused to do business with us on the podcast.
Yeah.
And
How
today,
many of them said yes?
yeah, most of those people do business with us in one way, shape, or form now. A lot of them, we power their entire business. It was a really great strategy. I like the PR one. I'm curious, when you do an article on them, do you post that to one of your blog sites? Or do you actually do a paid press release, or what's the actual process look on delivering some of those lead magnets? Because 33% is amazing, but you can't interview 10,000 people on a podcast. So I'm curious, like, you're subdividing this list by value, I'm sure, and then working this down in some sort of tree.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about cold email is the people that we're offering those really high value lead magnets to, like the podcast lead magnet, that one's only used to get really high value CEOs and decision makers on a call. We don't send that to just anybody. But you mentioned, how do we scale the free article lead magnet? So in 2021, we purchased a news outlet called usawire.com. We've been building it, pouring money and SEO work into that news publication for years. So now we have direct access to it. We can publish whatever we want. And it's actually been beneficial for growing the news publication because we're publishing articles about actual decision makers at real businesses. And now they are going and sharing this article with their following, posting it on Facebook, posting it on LinkedIn. We're tagging them when we do that as well. All of this is done automatically. So the process is basically through Zapier. They fill out a form. just like a written interview questionnaire. We take the answers to that form, run it through an automation with ChatGPT to spit out a great article based on kind of my prompts and example articles that we fed it in the past. We deliver that to the client and say, this is the article draft. Are you okay with this? Do you want to make any changes, or are you good? They press a one button trigger link, and that is published to the news publication automatically, promoted to LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter automatically. Our VA then goes and tags them and says article complete. And it takes minutes of human intervention from our virtual assistance team. And it's been a really, really great strategy to deliver on that one. The podcast one's a little bit more difficult. We've got 3 podcast hosts alternating those interviews. And it's a content machine. We've got 2 VAs in the background, cutting up all the short form, managing all the socials, making sure everybody gets tagged. That one's a lot more complicated, but was worth the build, works very, very well.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a great strategy. As far as lead magnets go, let's say those are the most high value offerings you have, and those make a lot of sense. So when you move down the title chain or the opportunity size chain, and you get into, let's call it the mid market or the mid value, what type of lead magnets are you looking at there with free pieces of content, case studies? Like what's your strategy on the more wide audience?
I would put like free content, case studies, ebooks, free courses at like the lowest value, because they take that person a lot of time and they're not actually solving a problem. They're just giving information. They're better than no lead magnets. If you're going to give an information-based lead magnet, it's better than nothing, but it's still not as good as like a mid-tier lead magnet. So a good example of like a medium value lead magnet is what I use in my lead gen agency. So it's an AI powered cold email writer. I've fed this thing hundreds of cold emails that I've written myself, trained it on my style and my way of thinking when I write cold emails. And the person interacting with it will answer some questions about their business, about their offer, about their target prospect, and again, runs it through Zapier, runs it through a prompt in ChatGPT, which is trained on my memory key, and spits out a cold email as if I wrote it myself. So gets a ton of people into our system and actually solves a problem for them and offers some real world value.
Jay, I gotta ask, was the email you sent me written by a robot?
I actually love this. Yes. So not the whole email. Most of the email was written by me. The one sentence was written by AI. The one sentence that's hyper personalized that you probably thought there's no way this was written by AI. And that is the title idea for the podcast that we would do together. That automation essentially looks at the description of your podcast and combines it with what it knows about me and my subject matter expertise and creates a clickbait title for an episode that we could do together.
That title was, or possibly is, Maximizing Lead Generation with Affiliate Partnerships. Right?
Not bad, huh?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
So do you use affiliate partnerships as well? Do you do that side of the business, or do you focus entirely on the cold email or the cold approach for your clients?
I do a lot of affiliate stuff myself. So through my YouTube channels, through my courses and my groups, I have a lot of affiliate partnerships with different software platforms. I have a lot of affiliate partnerships with different marketing agencies. Those are mostly referral partnerships. But I was shocked at how much money you could make just referring people to good softwares, referring people to good products. I'm happy to speak more about that. I'd say it's not my field of expertise. Do we do cold email to sell affiliate products or services? Not directly. Just like I wouldn't ever recommend directly going in for, you want to buy this thing? Do you want to book a call with me on the first cold email to somebody? Because that does not work very well anymore. Instead, be a little bit sneakier. Use a lead magnet like what I was just doing. Now you've got their email. They're clearly interested in cold email because they use my AI copywriting tool. The second, third, fourth email that I could send them could be referring them to the best in class recommended tools that I use for cold email in my own business. And now you're linking them to other softwares, tools, and earning affiliate income off of those signups. So that is something that I do in my business that works quite well.
It's amazing how many shitty cold emails I get on a daily basis.
Me too.
Yeah, so many they're completely irrelevant to what we do too. Like they don't even, like they just threw an email address in a list and said, "Let's see what sticks." threw it against the wall.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start like some kind of show or channel just reviewing all the bad cold emails that I get on a daily basis and
Like
like
the
what
wall of
people did
shame for
wrong.
your inbox. I like it.
Yeah, learn from these people's mistakes. There's so many every day. I'm sure you guys as business owners probably get them a ton too. As a content creator, probably 5 to 10 a day trying to edit my stuff. It's just all bad.
What's amazing to me is how bad the high level ones are that aren't even AI generated. And what I'm talking about is the ones we receive for VC, PE, and M&A. And so I get, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 a week. They are not AI generated. They all sound the same. So, hi, my name is Charles by way of whatever shitty bank I used to work at, and I would like to
Yeah.
vulture your business, please. And I cannot tell you how uninspired these people are. And it's funny because I always reply to those with unsub, um, and they get offended. It's pretty amazing. And I have
Brings
yet to
Adam
have,
great joy to
yeah,
tell
it
them
brings me
unsub on their
so much joy.
non-automated, non-mass sent emails. I'm like, dude, you're killing these people. It's pretty
But
good.
I think what you're talking about is really interesting because the lead magnet for that entire industry is, hey, book a call with me on this first email and I'll tell you about what I see in the market. Like any of that matters to a real entrepreneur. And the one that I did reply to was someone who reached out to me and asked me a really amazing question and wanted to connect about something that was hyper relevant to projects that we were working on in our industry. And Harrison, you know who this is. We actually had him out to our Miami Heat suite down here, and we cleared the whole suite for that game. It was just me, Harrison, one customer, and this gentleman in the finance space. And that will end up one day, I think, being a highly profitable cold email that I received. And I wish more bankers would do that. I wish more people would take the time to really identify their
We
high
found
value
one
audience.
banker with a soul, Adam.
Yeah, one banker with a soul.
Sorry, if you're a banker and you're listening to this, I'm not sorry.
You hit the nail on the head. It's the feel of personalization that will get a reply every single time. That something was truly personalized. And companies like Salesforce don't even use automated cold email or AI. They have a team of BDRs, business development reps, that will sit there and send these one-to-one emails to people who they have heavily researched, where they can actually ask an insightful question that's relevant and hyper targeted to you and mention something that you're actually doing in your business. And if anytime I get a cold email like that, where someone really took the time, and I know that it wasn't just inserting X variable and Y variable with your company and city and industry, then they're going to get a reply from me. They're going to get the time of day. So it sounds like you got one of those, somebody who actually took the time to sit down, research you guys, and send a really like well-structured, personalized cold email.
Yeah.
That's a different beast altogether. We had the
I think it's
VP of
really a great
Salesforce.
point that you just made because we've gotten emails where they like mention other companies that they think would be relevant to
Yeah.
us, and we're like, we're not in the restaurant software business. Like
So
like
we
you've
use
seen
that
these,
exact
Adam.
strategy.
It's like
Yeah.
unbelievable.
So the question is, how do you find a balance between building an army of humans in America, sending emails one at a time, which isn't going to be profitable for most people, most companies, and using AI to personalize cold emails that doesn't look tacky, that doesn't fail most of the time, like trying to mention a competitor who's totally unrelated. So there's really elegant, like fine-tuned ways that we figured out to do it. Identifying a local competitor is one that we do use in our cold emails and works quite well when you go in with good information. Creating a podcast title using information that you have works quite well. So depending on your industry and the campaign that you're going to set up, there's usually something you can do that's a good middle line for that.
So I'm curious, Jay. I see your ClickFunnels 2 comma Club X award behind you. Since you do cold email, I'm very curious, like what was that funnel?
This one's actually for our PR agency. So we've got I guess a high ticket PR product. It's a subscription service between $4,000 and $8,000 per month. We've been around for about 4 years, and that was the PR agency that was referenced in the intro there. So that's our main business venture. And yeah, we won that this past year. It's a fun little thing. It was cool getting up on stage. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us about that. I'm curious. What type of PR do you think actually moves the needle for businesses? And let me frame this real quick. Like I've seen all different types of PR. Obviously, lots of people do press releases. Those essentially move the needle zero. There are other types of article insertion that happens or paid article insertion. You might get some SEO value from it, but I don't necessarily see a lot of people actually getting a return on that investment as far as business sales go. So walk us through what a high ticket PR package may look like, and how can businesses actually leverage PR to result in real meaningful revenue?
All right, the PR spiel. So I usually like to break
Yeah.
PR into two buckets, the paid and the earned. And we try and stick with the with earned PR. So most of our team is composed of publicists. That's a very relationship-based business. Most of their job is working with journalists, reporters, TV hosts, producers, and really having their finger on the pulse of what's going on in the world. What's the news cycle like? What are these individual contributors, reporters, journalists writing about and talking about right now? And in order for us to be successful for our clients have to genuinely be interesting, have a really interesting product, interesting service, do something innovative. Maybe they just raised a bunch of money and they want to get a TechCrunch article. Now they're a funded tech startup. There's all kinds of reasons in which a company will need PR, specifically if they're doing something innovative, raising money, or they're a Fortune 500 company. So at this point, we're fortunate enough to have very interesting clients. Now, with that being said, the flip side of PR, where most entrepreneurs, most business owners will fall and will think about PR services, is you're getting an article here, you're getting an article here. Maybe it's published by a contributor, maybe it's a press release. A lot of that stuff will not result in ROI. And frankly, that's the hardest question that our sales team gets is how are we going to determine if this is making us money? What is the return on that? Return on investment? And it's a long game, just kind of like SEO, just kind of like social media. You have to do it for a while in order for it to really work, for you to have a big digital footprint, whereas people are just coming across your company in the media. Once people are Googling you, you want to be one of the first thing that shows up because that's the first thing somebody is going to do when they want to do business with a person or a company. They're going to Google that person and company. So press goes a long way for establishing trust and credibility. But the truth is, the best way to get ROI from PR is to advertise and promote it. Use it as a marker of trust on all of your landing pages, all of your ads, on your social media. It makes for great content. And it's with you forever. If you pay us $7,000, we get you an article in Forbes. Maybe you don't land a client from that article, but maybe you share that article on your social media platform. 9 people that were on the fence about working with you guys says, oh man, they just got featured in Forbes. They must be legit. I'm going to trust them. I'm going to do business with them. Maybe it increases your ROAS on your ads by 10, 15%. Get conversions on your landing page by another 5 to 10%. But there's different levels to the quality of press, what people will trust. If you're on a talk show or TV, that's a segment, that's an ad that you can run forever. If you're doing a book release, that's all stuff that you want. So there's a lot of unseen power in PR that people don't usually consider. They're like, if I get this article, am I going to get sales from it? Probably not directly, but if you use it correctly, then you're going to get a lot of indirect sales for the rest of your life. You can leverage this article forever. So a lot of different ways that PR is beneficial. If you're not doing something truly innovative, I do recommend paying for PR, guaranteed press. You give us this amount, I get you that article. Because if you're not doing something innovative and you try and work with a publicist, it's probably going to be a flop campaign, which makes nobody happy. So that's where I kind of guide people with the PR thing.
That makes a lot of
Is that
sense.
helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that anytime you're doing any marketing campaigns, there's a ton of legwork that can go into making that marketing campaign successful. And our background is obviously affiliate marketing, and this is the affiliate marketing show. And so a lot of affiliates, what they will do is they'll generally try and run traffic directly to an offer. Very rarely is that going to work. Also, very rarely is that going to be a defensible marketing strategy. Another affiliate's going to see what they're doing and can essentially copy it because there's nothing preventing them from getting the same results. So to your point, when an affiliate goes out and does something interesting like hires a production studio and makes a really high quality advertisement that they can copyright, or hire someone to help them get some articles or get on the news. The news is incredible. If you can get on the news talking about
Yes.
a product or service and then turn that into a lander, a funnel, an advertisement, that gives an affiliate competitive advantage running a campaign where other affiliates can now not generate the same results or the same ROAS or ROI simply because they don't have those assets and they can't just copy them. And a really great example of this is at a mastermind. I met a gentleman who makes all of his own ads with himself in them. And he also does some PR and tries to get on TV and does crazy stuff because other affiliates cannot then take that ad and just upload it to Facebook. He can actually do copyright takedown requests on the ads, and then he has this competitive advantage built in. And so I like what you're saying here. A lot of what we advocate for is affiliates to come up with unique ways where they can do that to create a moat or some sort of defensible competitive advantage in their business. And I think doing PR in the way you just described is amazing because as an affiliate, if you're going to be honest and want a long-term campaign, saying you got something featured in Forbes actually requires the article, and you should link to the article in your marketing materials. It like puts the consumer on a verification journey. They start to take you seriously and you're going to get a better conversion rate. So I like that strategy a lot. And I think a lot of business owners miss the boat when it comes to PR. They don't realize that you're basically buying assets to leverage in other marketing campaigns.
Buying credibility too.
Buying credibility. That's right. Borrowing credibility from these news publications that people already trust. And you mentioned press releases. I always want to give my spiel on press releases because this is such an industry thing that makes me want to scratch my eyes out. All these companies offering like $300 and we'll get you featured in Fox, CBS, ABC. Those things cost us like $30 to run. It's a press release that's hosted on all of those affiliate sites for about 3 months, and people are using it as if their company or they were featured on all of those different media publications. I don't know what the general consumer thinks when they see that on a landing page. It might be more successful than not using something like that. But anyone who knows stuff about PR can usually see through those things. So if you're going to use icons and social proof on your landing pages, I do recommend spending a few bucks and getting some logos and getting some press that's actually earned, that's going to stay there so you can link to it. And the Fox, CBS, ABC, all that stuff, I think people should shy away from. I'm sorry if you guys or anyone listening to this uses it, but that's my professional advice.
I mean, I agree with you. We do occasionally send press releases, or customers win an award and they want us to do a press release that they'll use in some cloud-based marketing. Yeah, exactly. Like it has its use cases, but it's not a growth strategy.
Right. And if you're doing it so that you can use those icons on your website or landing page, like pay us $200 and we'll get you featured in ABC, CBS, Fox, all those affiliate networks, and you're using it to build social proof on your landing page, pay the money to get some better logos and icons that aren't those. Get the Forbes, get the Entrepreneur, get the Inc. All that stuff's possible. It just costs a little bit more.
Jay, I'm going to jump in here. People probably forgot I was even on this episode, but I'm curious.
There he is.
I'm back. I'm not fired yet. That's an inside joke, Jay. What are some of the biggest mistakes you see people making in the lead gen space, especially those that are kind of just starting their journey?
So I'd say the biggest mistake and the most common mistake is starting a cold outreach campaign with an ask. So going straight for the sale, going straight for the call. Almost everybody does this because offering a lead magnet takes time and energy to create it. And this is the difference between going from a 1% reply rate to a 30% reply rate. It takes a little bit extra time, takes a little bit extra money to go and build that lead magnet, figure out what problem you can solve, but spend the time doing that and everything else is just going to fall into place. But still, so many people will still watch my videos, take my course, and they're still trying to go straight for the kill in that first email. So that's the biggest mistake and the most obvious mistake. So take the time, build those lead magnets.
Now, I'm curious, I know you're also a doctor of osteopathic medicine, and I see you do a lot of content still for that on your Instagram page. So where does like the balance in your life between lead gen Jay, the two comma club guy, and Dr. Jay Feldman, the osteopathic medicine guy, how does that kind of all fit into one, lifestyle? And how do you kind of go back and forth, or do you see it all as kind of like molded together as one?
I've been trying to figure out how to get it to mold together into one for a long time. And you may have noticed I split off my social medias. I have two YouTubes, I have two Instagram accounts, one for medicine and one for marketing. So I don't think it really goes together. I talk about marketing sometimes my medical channel and medical sometimes my marketing channels, but I keep those identities very separate. It's specifically for the algorithms. My marketing followers don't give a shit about biohacking and medicine and vice versa. My medical followers don't give a crap about lead generation. So I'd say it's 90-10. Running the agency, teaching marketing. And if you look at my channels, you'll probably see the same thing. I've been very active, 1 to 2 videos a week on my marketing YouTube. I don't think I posted on my medical YouTube in months. But I still try and stay on top of the learning, the new tools, the new technology. I was on a medical podcast last week. I've got 2 medical videos I'm putting out this week. So it's still there. But I'd say the split's about 90-10 right now.
Is that because you just have like a true passion for that industry as well?
I'd say it's just because of where I am in life right now. When I built those medical channels, I was doing that every day. I was living in the hospital. I was living and breathing medicine. So that was the content that I was creating. When I wasn't doing that anymore, it's hard to still create content passionately and knowledgeably about a subject that you're not living and breathing anymore. Right now, I'm living and breathing marketing, business development, lead generation. I'm experimenting with all the tools. I'm trying all these strategies in my own business. I'm teaching and consulting on that every single day. So that's the content that I feel more authentic creating. With the medical stuff, again, I think the content spread kind of goes in line with that. 10% of time spent on medicine, 10% of the content being created is for medicine.
I'm curious. We talk about mental health on this show here and there, but I really would like to get your opinion on this.
Sure.
Like, what do you do each day personally to kind of keep your mental health in the right spot, to kind of keep yourself grounded and not overwhelmed with all the moving parts that you've discussed in the past, 45 minutes with us?
Yeah, it can get stressful balancing everything. I've had my own struggles in the past. I'd say the most important thing everybody can do is exercise. So every single morning I do about an hour in the gym, some cardio. That's the obvious one that you don't need a doctor to tell you. Everyone should exercise. It's one of the best things for your mental stamina and your overall mood. The second thing is meditation. Can't swear by it enough. Everybody should meditate. I do about 10 to 20 minutes a day, depending on my mood. There's a couple extra things that I do. I take NAD plus injections every day, CMAX injections every day. Those are little subcutaneous needles. I've got some sitting here next to my desk. There's some supplements that I take. You want to make sure your testosterone, your vitamin D is good. Saffron is proven to be really helpful for mood, for serotonin. So that's something that I take every single day. It's a lot of little hacks, but if you're not doing the basics, then don't reach for any hacks. If you don't have a good exercise, nutrition regimen, you're not meditating, then don't worry about all of the add-ons that are going to get you the 5-10 extra percent. But that's what I do.
will say
Like,
we at the podcast are huge fans of subcutaneous needles. At least I speak
Oh,
for
yeah.
myself.
all right, I don't know if you're sarcastic, but if you're not,
No,
what do you
he's-
guys
There's a
what are you
bunch right
ripping?
there. We're
He's
good.
serious. So Jay, I'm actually sitting in Ringba's mastermind house. We bought a giant place in downtown Miami to host mastermind events, and Harrison and I are doing a residency there like DJs at a club right now. And I got to tell you, one of the most annoying things about living in this house presently is the refrigerator is half full with all sorts of things that require subcutaneous needles that belong to Harrison over there. And, I'm impressed at how many supplements he's presently taking. So when he says this to you, it is not a joke at all.
All right, good. If you want to talk about any of the stuff that you're on, I've experimented with lots of stuff. I've talked to and consulted people on lots of stuff. The technology that's around right now for peptides and subcutaneous injections, it's very cool. What's going on?
I agree.
And Harrison, if you're a fan, try CMAX, SEMAX. It's a Russian peptide that increases brain-derived neurotropic factor. It increases your cognition, increases your memory, boosts your recall. It's the Russian genius peptide, so a little less commonly known, but was like instrumental in helping me get off of Adderall. So definitely give that a shot.
Nice. Harrison, buy that. Let's inject it immediately.
I'm down.
This is not medical advice. Seek
No, of
medical
course
advice if you're
not.
planning on starting anything new. I am not your medical doctor. Talk to a medical doctor. This is something I do, not something you should do.
You know, Jay, we normally say on this show, get your own fucking legal advice, but now we can say, get your own fucking medical advice. We appreciate. I got one more question for you. I don't know about the other guys, but I think it's probably the most important one of the show. What's up with the gong?
Oh, you guys don't have a gong in your office? What do you do when sales team closes a deal?
Yeah. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page, dude.
Adam, we should probably get a gong.
We don't have an office.
We had this
have a
wimpy
new
little
one.
bell. I don't know if you can see it from here. That people were like ringing. It was tiny. I'm like, no, we need a Tibetan gong. That thing was like $3,000. The whole office vibrates when you smash it. But
Can you
it
go
makes
hit
closing
it?
a deal a little bit more gratifying.
Like, can
Can we
you run over there and
honor
bang
the
it?
podcast with the gonging?
You want me to go bang it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go bang it.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
All right, for those, we're not going to be able to see Jay. He's walking over to the gong. Let's see if the camera picks it up.
No, we couldn't hear it.
He's got
But
a
he
really,
banged it.
he's got a really good microphone. That's what that means. Jay's
know.
walking back. Here he comes. Jay, you
Not
must
sure
have.
if you can hear that with the dynamic
No, you
mic.
must have the best
the
microphone
best
in the
mic.
industry, dude. Yeah, we couldn't, but we
It's so
appreciate
sad.
These
I
shores
saw
only
the-
pick up what's right in front of them.
we appreciate the commitment, and thank you for coming on the show, man. Honestly, great episode, tons of value. I'd love to get you back on in the future. We'll definitely stay in touch. For myself, Josh from OfferVault.com, Mr. Paper Call Adam Young, as well as the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz, and Dr. Jay Feldman, aka Lead Gen J, co-founder of Otter PR and Otter Leads. Let's make that paper. Let's make that dough. This was the Affiliate Marketing Show. We will see you next time.
Marketing